I'm Nathan Shively-Sanders, and this is part 3 where I show you how to minify a reproduction down to, say, 10 lines, starting from a full project. So just as a reminder, I've got a standalone set of code here, taken out of the full project by this point. It has an error at the bottom. That's the error that we're trying to keep intact. And then on the terminal, I have a locally built version of Typescript with no errors. That's the one running on the good commit. This is the editor is running the bad commit of Typescript. So that I can tell that if I've created the error on the old version and then broken my repro by mistake. So let's get started. I think I'm going to start with underscore use here. Mainly because the problem for all this seems to be centered around equal. And I suspect that event name actually doesn't make a difference. So what I'm going to do is actually take away that first parameter and make sure that I still have an error. Actually, I don't even need this. And I don't need that. Probably. Let's see. Yeah, okay, good. So we managed to get rid of one of our functions there. Oh, one thing I should do actually is get rid of all the exports, except on the final product, because that way, once I stop using something, it will turn gray and I'll know that I can delete it. Okay, actually let's make it even more obvious what's happening here. So use is essentially, yeah, it's equal. We're assigning event quirl to equal, but event quirl itself isn't equal. So let's change this actually into the return type of this on function. So let's say equal, okay, and then I'm just going to put event quirl here, and that gives us the same error. Actually, because I'm using an extension that puts errors at the end of the line, let's just put a new line there so we can see it. Right, and this kind of makes it pretty obvious that we're assigning equal to equal, but something is going wrong with the type parameter. Let's double check to make sure that still is okay on the good commit. Yes, it is. Okay. So what is the type parameter for equal actually? Oh, I'm not using use anymore. I can delete that. Nice. Okay. Equal has t extends string equals all e keys. So one of the things I don't really like default parameter defaults when I'm making a repro. It just makes things harder to understand. So I'm going to inline all e keys here, and then delete that. Check. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now it's pretty clear the problem is we're assigning equal of t to equal of all keys, and then t extends known e names. Okay, where do we want to go next? Let's see here. Well, I'm kind of curious what all e keys and known e names are. Why don't we look at known e names here? Because here we have t extends no e names being assigned to all e keys, but known e names mentions all e keys, so they're somehow related. One general principle when I'm working with minifying a repro is I don't really need to understand the semantics here. Mostly I'm really looking for sort of structural changes that don't require me to understand what the program is doing. But occasionally I'll stop and sort of try to figure out what's going on. All right, so we've got a literal union, which is all e keys, and we pass all e keys and string to it. One thing we could do, let's see here. Well, one thing we could do right now actually is just to inline this. We don't really need known e names. Okay. I mean, that's the second principle. I tend to inline things because that makes it easier to see when you can simplify something. For example, we've got we're passing base type here, but again, almost all these things only have a single use right now. So literal union only ever takes a string as its base type. What if we just simplify this by not taking base type. Oops. And just passing e keys. We still have the error, and still no error back here. So we successfully got rid of one of our type parameters. Nice. Oh, also it looks like primitive type is unused now. Okay. Right. So that's interesting. Literal union of all e keys. So that's, in fact, why don't we inline all e keys? Still have the error. Good. And it still passes back on the good commit. So yeah, we've gotten rid of two type parameters, two type parameters in literal union here. And looking at this definition looks really strange. It's full screen change or string in record never never, which really should be equivalent to just string. So I'm going to get rid of all e keys. And in fact, yeah, look at that. It's still an error. Still good back here. Let's get rid of this and never never. Like, this shouldn't actually do anything, but this is one of those things that sort of a hacky workaround to fool the compiler into not evaluating certain things. So it might in fact be needed. Well, maybe it's not. Okay, so there's still an error there. Let's see if this is clean. Oh, yeah, okay, so that's the problem. So deleting this keeps the error here, but it also makes the error show up on old TypeScript, the one that's the air quotes good commit. So I'm going to put that back and make sure that in fact, yeah, okay. So probably what's going on is that the intersection with record never never is somehow fooling the compiler into not evaluating stuff. I suspect actually this thing is actually broken, and that what we're doing here is there's a combination of things that hides it from this good commit, and the bad commit is now smarter in some way and notices the problem. So I'm going to actually, yeah, let's go back up here, say record never never isn't required, so that I can remember that. This is now simple enough. I'm just going to delete literal union. See if that works. Yeah, okay, that one worked. Good. Okay, so, all right. So now we've got, incidentally, sort of an even more interesting thing. T extends string and record never never is not assignable to all e keys, which on the surface of it seems right. So yeah, I do think that the good commit is actually incorrect. It doesn't have any errors, but I think it's missing the good error. Okay, we can go for a couple of different directions here. One of the things I want to look at here, just to get some quick wins in terms of number of lines, is the object type here. So generally speaking, an object type with a bunch of stuff in it, you often need 0 or 1 properties from that thing. So I'm just going to delete everything but the quick serializable. Oh, well, that made the error go away. Okay. What should you do? Just take the bottom half and see if that keeps it around. Okay. Let's get rid of methods because that looks promising. Okay, so we found one thing that it needs to keep around. It needs to be generic. Maybe. Let's try making it not generic. Where's Quirrell 2? It's over there. Okay. Let's make it not generic and see what happens. So let's just inline this type. And oh no, the error went away. Okay, well, let's take away the default at least. Because, like I said, I don't like defaults. Okay, well, that's shorter at least. We might be able to get rid of it entirely, I suspect. Maybe. Let me see here. What's next? Well, this is a simple thing, so I can just inline that. Where's all emap used? Oh, it's actually used more than one place. Okay. That's fine. I can just change that. Where was the last place it was used? Ah, right here. Okay, that was a pretty simple change, and it just gets rid of one more moving piece here. So for oh wait, actually, here's another thing that I normally do. Anything that has more than one parameter, usually only one parameter is required to make whatever the bad thing is happen. So I'm just going to try deleting L and leave ev alone. Just because it's second, and because like there's a bunch of other things that use event, and so that's more likely to be the thing that's bad. That's the second type parameter. Yeah, okay. So yeah, once we fix that, it's back to having the error and no error on the good commit. So we successfully got rid of one of the things here. Let's take away the type parameter default. I don't think anybody's using that anyway. Nah. Okay. Let's see. No, you actually have to have a parameter there. Too bad. Just for completeness, let's make sure that the bivariance hack is actually needed. So this would be equivalent to event ev goes to any. We have the error still. Oh, but the error shows up here. Yeah, so, yep, that bivariance hack is somehow hiding it from the old commit. The good one, well, again, scare quote's good. I'm more and more convinced this is not actually giving the right answer on the old commit. Right, so, all right, bivariance hack up here. So we're getting an interesting but not maybe surprising list of things that are required to make this thing reproduce. All right, well, let's move on to maybe LC event. Where's LC event used? E from name. That certainly looks like I could inline that. Let's just inline this. Why is this still exported? Okay. Yeah, so that's not used anymore. Let's just double check. Yeah, we're back to having the right set of errors. LC event still uses a DOM type. I'm gonna just try setting that to empty object and see if that works. Okay, good. Okay, so I missed that on step 2, but I still had a DOM dependency by mistake. But fortunately, it's not important, so I could just get rid of it. So, here we have a conditional type. That conditional type might be required. What is C here? We've got textend string, but then we're never actually passing. Oh, okay, so textend string, but cextend string with a default of lowercase t. Really, this is one of those cases where somebody's used a default as a sort of let for type parameters. So you're never supposed to pass C. It's just to be always supposed to be lowercase of t. So what I want to do is, again, get rid of defaults. Say that that's lowercase of t. And now t is no longer even used. That's a very nice simplification. It's nice. So now C extends string, and then C extends key of HTML emap. If it does, then it's that. Otherwise, it's not. But you can pass any string. Now, are we passing any string? Yes, in the case of this case, T extends string, T still extends string. We lowercase the string, but it's still a string. And then it goes in here and hits the conditional type. So I could try to propagate out a requirement that all of these strings are actually keys of HTML emap, but I'm afraid that would probably break my repro. I guess I can try it. Did I typo something? I did. Okay. And now this, see there's a new error. T doesn't satisfy the constraint full screen change, or key of HTML emap. because it's just a string. And I bet if it's just a string, there's no error. Yeah, there's no error because that's all keys is just key of HTML emap. So that, in fact, I think is the error. The original code needs to change to fix that. You know what I'm going to do? There's only this. All E keys is only used once. Let's inline that too, because now it's. What did I do? Huh? Type string or number or symbol is not. Okay, maybe that doesn't. Wait. What? Key of HTML emap. Huh. Okay, I don't know what I did wrong there, but let's double check. Yeah, still good. Still the error here. Great. Yeah, so that makes it pretty clear that T, which is this thing, is not assignable here. What if we inline T and just say this is string and record never. No error. What? Why not? That's weird. How is a string and record never assignable to a key of HTML emap? Well, I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'm going to say that on's T parameter is required because it seems to be, otherwise both versions of the compiler, the old and the new, just completely miss that error, which is pretty bad. That seems bad. But that's not the bug we're trying to squish today. All right, so where were we? Let's see if we can whittle away at maybe equal a little bit. Okay, so we've got these 5 things, plus we've got undefined. Oh, yeah, definitely, if you have an or undefined, try getting rid of undefined. It's often not doing anything. Yeah, it wasn't doing anything. So that's fine. And this also isn't really a union anymore. Wait, what? Hold on. Okay, let's see here. So there's an error here. That's great. No error. And then the error shows up again. Huh. Wait a minute. I think that the type displays here is different. So we've got type equal of T is an assignment equal to this. Add the union in there. Yeah, okay, so there's something to do with type alias preventing or causing the type to be evaluated later than it would be. I'm not really sure. Regardless, something about that union is messing with type alias evaluation, which is strange, but I'm going to note it. Equals union is required. Weird and kind of bad, honestly. That doesn't seem like a thing that should be true. Okay, fine. Let's move on, now that we've noted it. So lowercase of t. It doesn't seem like we necessarily need that. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I need to make sure I'm back in a good state. Okay, good state there, yes. So this one has the error here. Has no error here. Now, let's do that. Okay, the error's back. Error shows up again. So, somehow lowercase of t is required. I don't know what to say about that one. That seems kind of weird, but there you go. Can I remove the constraint on any of these things? Nope. This one. Yes? Let's see. Yeah, nice. Okay. So there's this one that's constrained. That one needs to be constrained. Well, interesting. Okay. What about Quirrell 2? What's Quirrell? Oh, that's the brand up there. Is that really necessary? It doesn't seem like it should be necessary. The error's still there. Yeah, that wasn't necessary. Good. Okay, so we're down to e-handler of LC event of lowercase of t. Lowercase we proved is necessary. LC event is a conditional and sort of questionable. I mean, there might be some way to get rid of that. No, I couldn't. No, there isn't, because in order to get rid of that constraint, you have to rewrite the entire program to be correct, essentially. So there's no way to get rid of the conditional that I can see. E-handler is the bivariance hack, which again we've shown is required. HTML emap is just basically a key that goes to an empty object type at this point. I think we're pretty much done here. I think we've proven that pretty much everything that's left is required. We've sort of noted some things that we've noted something in text for future notes to affirm that yes, the things that I've noticed are in fact required. Sometimes I'll go through and rename these types to be sort of more obvious, like I don't know, either shorter or more obvious. These seem okay, actually. Actually, I don't like eQuirrell very much because it's just a bunch of letters, but it's not horrible. And none of them are particularly long, which is the thing you want to avoid when you're having a short repro. One tip, when you're really doing serious debugging, you probably want to use different type parameter names for each of the different things. I've almost done that here. There's a T and a U, so you know what, let's just rename this to U. That'll make it easier to debug in case when you see a T in the debugger, you know definitely it's this one and not this one. So how well did we do? We got down to, what line is this? Well, I can't tell. Somehow, for some reason, I've been recording a macro for the entire time of this recording. Well, that's hilarious. Okay, well, I still don't know what line I'm on. Let's see, let's just count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that's not bad. 11 lines. It makes it pretty clear that this is your basic problem, where this T with the constraint is getting assigned to this other T, and they've noted that pretty much all of these other things are required for it to not be like an obvious flagrant error. Okay, so there you go. We've reduced, first of all, a project down from a full project with a bunch of files down to 35 or so lines, and then now we've got something that's 11 lines, and sort of we've noted all of the things that you pretty much have to have for it to be an error. All right, so thanks for watching. I hope you learned something from that.